Okay, welcome everyone to our Monday morning Global Heart Resonance here at Good of the Whole, hosted by Good of the Whole. And today it's a beautiful day, and happy to have Michelle Pollard, one of our Heart Resonance stewards. She's waving, giving that little Vanna White wave. And she's our Pollyanna, potent, powerful Pollyanna, who's here today, who's going to take us into the heart resonant field. So for those of you that are new, we want to welcome you and to invite you into the space where we focus on this emerging field, building together the coherence using this deeper understanding of love and presence. So yeah, just happy to be here. I'm getting ready to start my summer and fly off to New England, and pretty happy to be in the process of really acknowledging, having gratitude. So let's just begin there this morning. Let's just begin with gratitude, and gratitude for all the gifts that we're receiving through our connection with other people, our connection with our home, our connection with the land that we live on, and taking it really expansive scan over our body, through our body, and just allowing ourselves to relax, let go. We've come out of the weekend now, and we're beginning our week. And the beauty of this call is that we begin our week in love, really focusing on love and how love is living here in our being, and how love is living here within the circle of people that we engage with. So with that, the invitation just this morning is to simply close your eyes and feel into this immaculate, ineffable field of love. And it was the word of the day in Merriam-Webster. So ineffable love, this love that fills us, supports us, has our back, and we're learning to trust that here within this time together. We're learning to take that pause, just breathing with that sense of continuity and effervescence, and feeling that experience of light meeting water within our body as it ignites our cells, revitalizes and restores our cellular nature. It's why we come here. Just taking a really beautiful open and inhaling this beautiful joy, this presence of joy. And feeling that tingling sensation of aliveness. And what's your choice in coming here today? What's your intention? What is you choosing for yourself and all those that you're connecting with in this field of love? And really capturing the sense of the sacred heart, the sacred chamber of the heart in its connection to the earth and the cosmos. The joy and fullness. And so we want to start here, really resetting the space. Allowing our shoulders to just roll back a little bit more on our body, just that sense of sitting fully in space, in time. And the invitation here is to really feel the sense of the elder dropping in. That's communicating with all dimensions of self that I'm here. I'm here now. And feel how that effect on your nervous system. When it feels that sense of the elder, the wise elder, that shamanic aspect of yourself, notice how it calms down and comes fully present into the space. Now, very gently opening your eyes and looking at this beautiful tapestry of love that's here today with all of us. And today we have this beautiful opportunity to be with Michelle inside of our resonant reflection of the heart resonant connection. And again, we always invite you to take that pause in between each sharing, letting go of your story, and being present with what's really wanting to come through as that miraculous state of being. So with that, I pass the beautiful crystalline virtual talking stick over to you, Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you. And it's always great to be here in this beautiful heart resonant connection with each of you. And to start today, I'm just going to read a couple of quotes. And everything that's laying the groundwork for our call today is from Marianne Williamson's A Return, which rose as a book that I have not revisited for many, many years. So it was interesting that this came for this call today. So I'm excited to see what unfolds. In the holy relationship, we don't seek to change someone, but rather to see how beautiful they already are. We love purely when we release other people to be who they are. The job of the miracle worker is to remain awake. We choose not to fall asleep and dream of others' guilt. In this way, given the power to awaken others. A prime example of a miracle worker is Pollyanna. The ego knows this, which is why she is constantly invalidated in this culture. She walked into a situation where everyone had been in a nasty mood for years. She chose not to see the nastiness. She had faith in what lay beyond it. She extended her perception beyond what her physical senses revealed to her, to what her heart knew to be true about every human being. It didn't matter how anyone behaved. Pollyanna had faith in the love she knew existed beyond anyone's fear, and thus she invoked her love into existence. She exercised the power of and within a short time, everyone was nice, everyone was happy. So in the resonant field, there is no judgment, there is no fixing. How can we remain in and thus allowing the expansion of the resonant field? How can we be Pollyanna, if you will, when love is not easily seen or felt? Can we be brave enough to be the beacon of heart resonance when we're not in the collective field of heart resonance, where we might be a little bit more challenged than we are here this morning? And with that, we'll have a pause and the talking stick is open.
Good morning, everyone. This is Karen in Costa Rica. What came to mind was something from Course in Miracles. Last chapter, Final Vision, choose once again. Choose once again to be a savior of your world, or remain in hell and keep your brother with you. How do we do this? We choose it. We choose it every moment of every day. And we don't beat ourselves up when we have our moments when we forget and we haven't chosen it. But we all have that ability as awakened beings to know that we have the choice of whether to be one of the ones stuck or to be Pollyanna and see the real truth in all that is underneath it all. This was excuse me. It's bringing tears. Thank you for the reminder, Michelle. It's been a long time since I was accused of being a Pollyanna, but I used to be that. And I can now choose to be that more again now. Thank you. So for now.
Good morning,
Thank
all. Present too. I'm sorry. It's that we are Pollyanna. That's why we came together. Maybe knowing it subconsciously, but now it is in our space. When I was reading that this morning, when I heard it again, it was like, that is what we said we are. That's what we showed up. And what is in the space is like, this is the key to joy. Knowing it. This is the key to joy. And as I am listening to that, there was something, I don't know why this came forward, is the glue of creation is, as I'm listening, is like being here, and it's like everything I am all together, and it was being said during the centering. And so if this loving is the glue that has all my particles together and is the particle itself. Wow. Wow. There would be nothing that we cannot overcome it. And knowing that's what is fully present here. Thank you, I'm complete.
Hello, everybody. This is Nancy out in California. I just traveled back from North Carolina last night and yet set my alarm. So when I woke up this morning for this call, and I'm only on the phone, I didn't have time to read what the call was about. So I just sat for a minute and something came to me. And of course, of all things, it's exactly what the call was about. I'm just experiencing being more tuned in and acknowledging that. And so what had struck me was I just got back from another convention kind of event at the company that I work with. And for 20 years, I have been going to all the events and participating in this company, and all along doing heart resonant work and the work that we are all doing and connecting. You know, for many years now, it's been all of us. And at first, it's like looking for how to fit in, and then it's looking for how to blend in, and then it's looking for how to find others that I resonate with within. But it has evolved to acknowledging that my presence is making a shift, that I'm not just some out-of-the-way ambassador. I mean, I've always called myself, since I've been working with Barbara Marx Hubbard, as the evolutionary hostess. And it's so amazing to me that this environment that I'm in my business, is starting to feel and look more like this call all the time. And a little voice in me, you know, doesn't really want to acknowledge that I could have been part of the evolution. But I know it's true. And I know we all are. All of our connection is everywhere we go. And so it was just a delightful reminder when I just sat quietly and this came to me, that this really was the topic. The topic was, it's like, you know, you can all know everything without ever knowing why. And this is, for me, it's time to acknowledge that there is power in being with all of us together, but then going out into our world and being that beacon and that light that does make a difference. And I'm just grateful to have you all in my circle. I'm complete.
Good morning. This is Henry. I got in pretty late last night from a visit with my son and grandson and saw this reflection. And I could feel it's just kind of interesting how the juxtaposition of words, of images, and such a beautiful reflection to connect with heart resonance, of opening to the archetype or the image of the miracle worker. So I could feel the alchemy or at least that it inspired or activated in me. And it's like the idea of synchronicity that goes beyond what we usually, chance meetings or something, but as an actual choice or something that activates a higher possibility in each moment, which when we come together, we are bringing those higher possibilities into our collective field. So I just, just the different images or words that each of us creates, that adds to the field, that adds to that magic. So I'm very grateful for this reading, this reflection, for this topic, and so it opens the doorway to another such beautiful face of resonance, and that idea of I guess another archetype of Pollyanna in a certain way, of that purity of the heart. So I am complete.
Hello, everyone. This is Cassandra. I have very fond memories of being a Pollyanna type child. There was so much magic in my childhood, and I know that I was only able to see and experience it because I was so optimistic and filled with the belief that anything and everything was possible. I was filled with visions at an early age in my life, and they were, as a child, they were childlike. What I understand now is that I'm being called back to remember those beliefs that were all inclusive and allowed me to see myself and my passions as opportunities to deepen my resonance with others. So this is a lovely opportunity and topic to take into my day and my week. I'm going to turn 70 this year, and it is with great joy that I consider being a child again at 70 and what that might look like. So with that, I feel very open-hearted and consciously co-creating with all of the potentiality that I'm able to see with my eyes and my heart. Peace to all of us. Aho.
Good morning, everyone. This is John in Boulder. Cassandra, I turned 70 this year as well, so let's be kids together. I got a thing that came in from my daughter, single mother, working mother, mother of two. And she said, have you ever experienced Smonday? Spelled S-M-O-N-D-Y. And then she said, it's that moment on Sunday afternoon or evening where the anxiety comes in about Monday. And I started reflecting on that. Of course, I've felt that all since I was a child in school. And having a beautiful day on Sunday, and then remembering all of a sudden, oh my God, tomorrow's Monday, I've got school, I've got work, I've got this responsibility, I've got all this stuff. Well, now I started looking at my own duality around that. And here I am on Sunday, spending time relaxing, and of course, spiritually in the arms of God, kind of Pollyannish, as a matter of fact. And then all of a sudden, this other reality comes in and bursts that state of being and brings me back into this self-acknowledgement that is separate from my God-given, relaxed, Pollyannish, universal state of being. And it's very sad, and it's depressing, and it's worrisome, and it's anxiety-filled, just like my daughter said. And then I began to realize what we have as an opportunity here is to live our lives in service by living and acknowledging that relaxation in the larger field and bring that into everything that we do during the week so that it's not self-serving, but it is God-serving. It is creation serving. And it's not an easy task in a industrial culture where all of the competitions and the things that we know and the need to survive financially and all of that is kind of based on this separatist idea. And yet I trust and believe in us holding each other in the space where we can actually live the life of the Pollyanna, which, as we've been discussing, is not about something that's not possible. It is about what is and bring it into possibility. And being on this call on Monday morning enriches that in my heart, infuses it into my actions. And so Monday doesn't happen as radically as it has in the past. And I pass the crystal on. Thank you.
This is Shelley, and I'm just loving all the qualities of resonance that's being brought out. You know, the magic, the purity, the optimism, the open-heartedness. We're all describing this experience that we're, that we come to experience, to come to have, and it's all enveloped in the state of presence. And I'm just having this, listening to everyone and pulling those threads. I just have this one frame in my consciousness is, where she learns about the prism, and she sees the reflection of prisms and the light hitting it and the rainbows. And I feel like this experience, it brings us into a deep sense of this awe of nature, that is pre-existing before our consciousness is here. It's always reflecting. It's always revealing various colors and frequencies. And I think it's why we've come to this place of speaking about the home frequency, because this is the home frequency. That state of what is being described here is that home frequency where we're, within I loved what was being said, the archetype of the miracle worker. Well, what is the miracle worker but the one who experiences the miracle and becomes that, and understands that and deepens into the, the resonance of life itself, right? It's just really quite amazing. And what was coming to me is this commitment to love. It is the loving presence of consciousness that arises and sees itself through everyone and through all circumstances. And for me, I'm, as was being said, I'm seeing it really reveal itself in situations where in the past I wouldn't have thought possible. Where as an example, last night I spent like 3 hours reading the movie Treatment to my parents. Now, the movie is a true story about my life, and you can be sure there's some not such good stuff in that movie, right? The conflicts and the issues and the non-communication and everything unlike what we're speaking to. And yet holding that sense of the larger possibility and having that courage to have a voice and be that spectrum of light or beacon of light that's being shared is what's being, I'm thinking of the word conjured, but it is being, conspired here, because we're playing in the field and it's playing with us. And I think that's the essence of, that Pollyanna archetype is the one that has that sense of aliveness. Everything is new. Everything is, not pre-subscribed, so to speak. So, in the past that would be, we would be calling that woo-woo, or, my dad used to say I was wimpy, or not wimpy, but it was just like sort of this sort of not fully present. My mother told me last night that they used to call me Elijah. My background is Jewish, and the Jewish holidays, Elijah comes to the door and you let in that being, or that being of light. And she said, we always called you Elijah because we never knew when you were going to pop in. And yet I think we're learning to stabilize this experience so that it is becoming more visible and more of an experience for others in the field with us. So I'm really appreciative of everyone here, and always the right, perfect reflection, right? As always. So blessings and thank you so much. Yeah, grateful.
Good morning, everyone. This is June from California, and it's really wonderful to hear the different stories of Pollyanna. I had to laugh when I first read and listened, and then listened to the word Pollyanna, because over the years that has been made and made wrong or made fun of, and those kinds of things. And yet when you really get down to what it means, it just goes so deeply into the heart. And I was reflecting on what in a day would it mean to be Pollyanna. And I was thinking, doing what's needed in the moment with joy, not keeping score, or not adding the weight. Have I given more than others have? But not caring, because it isn't about weighing who gave more. And Pollyanna always adds to the resonance, increases it with every breath, with everything that she does or he does, and never waiting to be asked. It's sort of like being tuned in, just as we talk about being tuned into the resonance. Pollyanna is tuned into the universe of what's needed in the moment, regardless of what it is. And I thought about the story of the geese and the reflection that each of the geese take their turn as a leader, and then they circle back around and reflect the wind off for the others, and then go back up again. Never again saying I'm the leader or they need me, but just being one part of the whole of that leadership. And also I was thinking about how does Pollyanna step in, or when does Pollyanna step in? And it's really just about what needs doing right now, not whose turn it is, but being tuned in that heart resonance of, just noticing, walking into a room or into a group and feeling what is it that needs doing, and joyfully, quietly perhaps, or sometimes just being funny and open and loving. But it's just about, adding joy and getting joy, and the feeling of deep gratitude and love, and for being able to serve. So Pollyanna comes from the heart, and it's sort of like in the moon and changing shapes constantly. There's no one thing about Pollyanna that's the same. She's able to shift to whatever it is that's needed, and to shift to the energy of the moment. And so learning how to be in that place as often as possible is really the work to be done for myself, to realize that when I can come from that place, the deep joy and love I feel for everything and everyone is so much greater than when I decide to keep score, or decide that I've done that before, I don't need to do it again. So the joy of this group is the way in which we all come from our Pollyanna, and when we don't, we come back and try again. So I'm complete, and I give over the crystal talking stick.
Good morning, all. This is Kate in South Dakota. I'll pick up the Pollyanna thread here a minute. I'm just so grateful that so many of us Pollyanna-esque wisdom keepers, I always want that elder wisdom keeper to come through, but there's also that playful Pollyanna that's just persistent. And so I'm so grateful that we are learning how to play together in this Pollyanna-esque way. And as our reflection, for so long, I've kind of thought, I've got everybody on frozen screen. It's like I'm talking to frozen. I guess that's what happens when I talk. I have no bandwidth. Everybody goes blank. It's so bizarre to talk to a blank screen. Anyway, as Marianne Williamson is our inspiration for our and I've always thought Michelle is kind of Pollyanna, and so it's so perfect that this was the subject you wanted to bring to us today. And, I guess I felt that there wasn't a political solution so long. It was going to be this spiritual solution. And now we have somebody running on a platform of love. I just feel such, we speak about this infinite potential in the moment, and I know I'm ready for the debates, and everything I hear out of that woman, I really love. Everything I hear out of all of you, I really love. I think it just deepens our conversation and this evolutionary leap. However you look at it, you're all evolutionary leaders, and we bring our wit and wisdom together. Who knows where it goes in? This is. My 1 to 2 minutes is probably. I will pass the talking stick, and thank you all for this.
Good morning. Buenos dias. This is Rosemary from the Central Valley of Costa Rica. I'm delighted, really delighted to be here because this is definitely my tribe. I too, when I read the reflection, had a kind of actually a visceral response to the word Pollyanna. It brought up cellular memories of being referred to as that. And as was already alluded to, it wasn't a very positive characteristic. And yet, in reflecting upon the characteristics that have been brought out today, that profile a Pollyanna, male, female, it doesn't really matter. I'm delighted to say those characteristics resonate with me as the characteristics of the divine. The transparency, the willingness to be of service. And as someone mentioned, if something comes up, to be available. And yet, and I'll come off to the side, I'm here this morning on the heels of a workshop yesterday that I participated in, and the theme of that workshop was divine union. And so how do I bridge what I felt and experienced at that workshop on divine union to this topic of Pollyanna? And what is coming to me is Pollyanna was truly aware of her connection. She knew intrinsically that she was or is love. She is the divine. She is the representative and human form of what it means to be divine. Not that she blew her own horn, but she exuded those qualities of the divine. And how beautiful it is to come together for me yesterday and again here, being blessed to be here today. to reflect in each other, you know, those qualities of the divine, and to bring those out from our resonant field, which has, to me, a permeable membrane around it. It's not closed by any means, but to then bring that out into our world, that's where the true experience happens. And how I experience the world begins with my acknowledgement of my constant 24/7 connection to the divine. The conflicts that often appear in the outside world are gifts, and they're not bad or good. They exist to teach me, to show me more than anything. If it's a teaching, then I've got it. If I don't get it, it's going to keep coming up. To show me where my awareness of my connection to the divine is cloudy, where I have to continue to clean the window to become transparent. And that becomes my inner work, which continues. And the beauty of relationship in its many facets, whether it be a marriage, a work relationship, family relationship, is that I'm given the opportunity to practice my acknowledgement of the Pollyanna characteristics every single day. And that's a gift. The gift is the practice. So I'll finish my share with the words of the workshop yesterday. You know, what is divine union? And my answer to that is just switch the words around. It doesn't matter. Divine union is union, my acknowledgement of union with the divine. And that is the essence of the Pollyanna characteristics that go out into the world, is an absolute knowing of that connection. It's always there. And it is divine. As are you. So thank you. I'm complete.
This is Michelle, or shall I say Pollyanna? No, just I had no idea this is what would emerge as such a powerful conversation. Although I suppose at some level, I after all these years, to and just really feel the desire of the Pollyanna in all of us that's wishing to have a new phase in our lives, to be bold enough and brave enough in all these situations where we've often held Pollyanna-ish energy within, due to the experiences that we had from our life's journey, or perhaps for some of us just beginning to tap into it and not knowing what to do with that incredible optimism and divine union that we so desperately have wanted to share out loud, but learned in our journeys to be silent. And I think it's really exciting now to be in a place in our world in which it's aching to hear the Pollyannas more boldly and more bravely than we've ever been. And that it would rise here in our global resonant field so that we can go out with that courage of all of us in union to be at whatever level we're capable, in whatever moments we're capable of doing it, but to bring Pollyanna forward. So thank you for adding to my courage today. I'm complete.
Hi, it's June again. I just was listening and thinking and wanted to say one more thing that I didn't say before, and that is being Pollyanna isn't taking time out of one's schedule or one's life to do something for someone else. It is your life. It is, it's just there for you to do and there for you to give and there for you to grow and learn from. So it doesn't take any more time to be in service or to be love or to be Pollyanna than it does to be anyone or anything else. In fact, it takes less time. So just wanted to add that in. Much love.
Really briefly, this is Nancy. Just popped in this amazing thought because there's so many young people, like millennial aged kids, that are part of the organization that I work with. And they're like a whole new breed. And many of them shared at the conference about their parents, that they acknowledged like their parents for helping them be the aware young people that they are, people that are out there to make a better world. And it just struck me that many of us on this line, you know, we have kids, or we're still raising our kids, or we have young adults. And isn't it amazing? It's like it's the conscious evolution with the next generation. I see so many amazing connections, and it just welled me up with excitement to think about that and have that be shared by so many young people who are, it's who they are. They don't have to hide their Pollyanna-ish. I mean, they're struggling with it in their own way, in their own circles, but they're in a supportive environment, and they had parents that encourage that. And I just think that's just so amazing. That's it.
So here we are, this beautiful space, and this is a great time to allow those that haven't shared with us the opportunity to share their light and their love. So for those of us that have shared, we'll just, again, hold those banks of those river, beautiful flowing river that's happening here this morning. This river of light and divinity. Yeah, so let's just do that. And if you're on the phone, just a reminder, *6 will get you into the call. So we'll hold the space in the pause and in the silence for those who feel their love and their voice rising. For those of you that are on the phone, Julie just typed in, she has a gently sleeping baby, so she's being very quiet, so we'll continue in that pause with her. Oriana, we can't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me? No? Okay.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
I'm having troubles with my microphone this morning. So I just wanted to say good morning, and I've enjoyed the insights around being Pollyanna and really holding that. Yeah, what is it to want the best, feel the best, see the best, hold the best in everyone? So I'm taking that into my day, into my life, and thank you.
All right, does anyone else want to jump in? And if not, we'll spiral into our day. Can you hear me okay? I've unplugged. So I've been a little bit, if you've seen me go on and off, it's because I'm more like Cinderella than Pollyanna right now. Because I'm leaving this house in like 10 minutes. So just gratitude to everyone for the gifts you brought here into the space. It's a magnifier. Your light, your love magnifies the energy of the field, and that really creates this bright sensation of coherence, this creativity moving at its finest. So with that, just a reminder to come join us and be mentoring stewards, take this even deeper on Wednesdays. And if you need to know more about that, you can email Julie or myself. And with that, we'll all unmute and we'll send this vibratory field out to all those that are sitting right at the edge of the horizon and would love to come participate and need our love and need this light. So with that, yum, 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 yum,
Yum, yum, yum, yum,
Bye for now.